Shalom, hello. My name is Sarah Hartshorn. I am a comedian here in New York City, and I am here to talk to Lizz Winstead, who is an amazing badass writer, comedian, producer, everything, who started a show you may know called The Daily Show. And she is also the founder and head of an organization called Lady Parts Justice League, which is one of my favorite organizations in the world. Let's just turn on the uterine bat signal, and then we can wait for her to arrive. Hi, Liz. I'm so glad that you magically appeared like this.
And magic.
When did you know that you liked making people laugh?
Somebody dared me in college to do comedy. I was always sort of funny, but always cynical. And I think the part that was crazy was I'll never forget what my friend was like, you should try comedy. And I was like, can I do that? Because I never saw myself. I was like a punk rock kid. I didn't see a woman with my experience doing stand-up. There was either the old school women who were great, like Phyllis Diller and Joan Rivers, but they all were talking about relationships and husbands, and my life was just all about like rebelling and music and counterculture stuff. That's why I was like, can I do stand-up? Like, is it a thing for me?
I had the same thought. I got pushed into it by someone else too, and I was like, no, I can't. I'm not somebody that can do comedy. That's not a thing.
Right. And well, and I think, women have been socialized for so many years to be people pleasers and make everybody happy. And when you step on stage with an opinion, you're going to separate the audience. You're going to be divisive. It was just anathema to everything that we expect from women. I think that's the reason that I just decided to do it.
Where was your first open mic? Like what?
It was called Dudley Riggs Brave New Workshop. And it was in the Twin Cities, where I'm from. It was exciting because I got a laugh. And it was from that moment forward that literally my whole life changed. I felt like stand-up was going to be what I was going to do.
And you'd come at it from always trying to do things that you were told you couldn't do because you were a woman.
Yeah.
So
Oh, don't do things that involve like women stuff. You'll get booked in more clubs if you keep your act super non-gendered. And I was like, I don't know how to look at the world other than through the lens of someone who walks it in this body and with the set of circumstances. And so for me, it was like, go fuck yourself. Like, I live in the world as this person.
Yeah.
I'm going to do comedy through my own lens.
What do you say to people who talk about how like political correctness is ruining comedy?
I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean that it's really important for you to be able to tell jokes at the expense of people who can't fight back? Like, I don't know what you're asking. And second of all, I say the thing that I always say to people, which is, take it upon yourself to be the comic you want to be. Say whatever you want. Say every word you want to say. But the second your act passes your lips, everyone else gets to pass judgment upon it. Your intention is no longer valid or interesting to the audience at all.
Yeah.
They hear what you said, and they react to that accordingly. And so that's part of, to me, what's so amazing and daring about being a stand-up is that I don't know what kind of heat I'm going to get by what I believe. Well, I do know because I'm like an abortion rights activist who also runs a comedy organization. So Guess what? I take a lot of shit. I guess I'm so used to people just being so reactionary towards everything I do that I don't feel like I ever get a pass, and I don't expect one. I mean, I don't know what to say other than do your act, and if people consistently hate it, maybe that's the world we live in now, and decide what you want to do about that.
Adapt or don't.
Adapt or don't.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome to learn about other people's experiences so that you can really hear that and honor that and try to prioritize it.
What was something that at the time felt like a failure that ended up being like very positive for you?
When I got fired from Air America Radio because they brought me on to launch this network. And then I got to create this roster that had Mark Maron and Al Franken and Janine Garofalo and Sam Cedar. And I had a show with Rachel Maddow and Chuck D. And they brought in this like new idiot who, on his first day, fired me under the guise that comedy wasn't a good tool for social change. And I was like, that is a disproven fact. It felt like a failure that I didn't, that I somehow couldn't convince them that comedy worked, even though we all know it did. it made me really have to think about how do I continue using humor and then say, and here's what you can do.
I want to talk about Lady Parts Justice League because
Yes.
it is one of my most favorite organizations in the world. And if you don't know, they go on tour almost every year.
We do two things. We do a comedy and music show that gets 400 people in a room. And then after the show, we have a conversation with local activists in that town and the clinic, and they talk about their needs and what this community of people who've just come to the show could be helpful with. And then people sign up right there.
Yeah.
And then we go to the clinics and help them out, and it's pretty fun, providing aid and comfort and doing it all through comedy. So I'm basically just doing the same thing I do, except I added a little bit of do-gooding in it. If you ever just feel like, I'm super busy, this is an issue I care about, I wish somebody could just like tell me what to do, like we're good for that, right? And so it's just a way to get people motivated, amplified in a way that they have time to do, in a way that they can make the most difference, especially when it comes to reproductive rights and justice.
So how can people find you and Lady Parts Justice League and the tour and when you'll be in town?
Oh my goodness. Well, the website vagicalmysterytour.com, you can go there to find out all about the tour. And then ladypartsjusticeleague.com is where all of our stuff is, our events, our videos that we launch.
Thank you so much for talking with me and
Yes.
for educating me and the public.
I'm honored you wanted to fangirl with me.